Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold podcast brought to you each and every week. And you know what I'm going to say. It's Boonshine. They're making the high country a better place. They're helping Boonshine. And they got a new beer, Catch Me Inside. I love that so much. The quintessential brew for our snowy mountain town, Catch Me Inside is our ode to all things comfy and cozy. This winter warmer showcases serious malt magic from our Shine Brew Boys, built on a rich base of German amber, NC biscuit, and toasted Munich malts, with a touch of American rye for a subtle, peppery bite. The real showstopper, the beer was aged on, oh my goodness, I'm going to mispronounce this.
Amberana.
Amburana. Okay, there you go. Amburana, a rare Brazilian oak that gives this completely non-spice brew the aroma and flavor of baking spices. Expect notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, toffee, and dark fruit, even though it's all coming from malt and wood alone. It's kind of interesting. Midnight amber, warm, complex, and perfect for winter nights. Come catch it while you can. So, catch me inside. That catch me outside was the meme. Now catch me inside is the beer. So I don't know, looks interesting.
Oh,
And we always thank Boonshine for sponsoring the show. I'm your host Alex Johnson. With me as always, the world's most famous App State fan. He is Big C. Big C, what do we think about Catch Me Inside?
well, I haven't had it, but it's kind of funny because it isn't like one of the social media trends is the whole like 2016 look back thing, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think the old Dr. Phil show when the girl who's in the gang with the
Catch Me Outside,
that's
yeah.
I think that was a 10 years ago thing. Like that
Was it
was like
really?
I, I could be wrong.
Look at that right now.
You're gonna look
Oh
it
yeah.
up right now, but
Oh yeah.
um it's just crazy looking back. I mean, the timing, it would be kind of elite, but like that was a hilarious moment in time.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how young she was at the time. It was 2016. She Danielle Bregoli, better known by her stage name Bad Baby, is an American rapper, songwriter, and media personality. She gained viral recognition after appearing on the talk show Dr. Phil in 2016 with her one-liners and catchphrases briefly becoming internet memes. She was 13 years old when she did that.
It 13 looked like she was like 17. Uh,
Uh, it's
how
amazing.
about
And of
that?
course, how
How
about
about
that?
that?
Get me outside. How about that? Yeah, wow. 10 years ago. 10 years ago, well, let's see here. We found out Sarah was pregnant in February of 2016. You guys were not far behind. So our wives spent most of 2016 pregnant.
Yes, they
And we were
probably do
just,
not want a 10-year look back.
yeah. Yeah. Maddox was brutal, man. He was a brutal pregnancy. He was all over the place. He was a monster. But yeah, 10-year look back. We were in at this point, 2016, we were in season one, second half of season one.
Hmm.
We had just come off the Camellia Bowl. The basketball team was terrible. Um, yeah, wow. How about that? Wow. Catch me outside, catch me inside. How about that? So, we have, this is like a wintry blizzard edition because now, there comes all these projections and models and everything else that, like our friend Jeff Crum, they'll post these different forecasts of the weather. And apparently there's going to be, adverse weather this weekend, beginning, I guess, Saturday morning, for really the Southeast and Western North Carolina and South Carolina. You get hit. Um, so they've moved sporting events. So now, we were planning on coming to the game Thursday against Louisiana. Well, we're really looking forward to that. And now we can't. It's at noon, and then playing ULM not on Saturday at 1, but uh, now Friday at 1. So that's just a huge bummer. Charles, I just don't like that.
Yeah, um, it is a bummer. It's especially when you look forward to these basketball games and it's It's kind of reminiscent to like COVID, or losing the football game against Liberty because of Helene, kind of a
Yeah.
thing, like where it's like you look forward to a Thursday, you look forward to a Saturday afternoon, and quickly you got to back to backers, which is what we did in COVID. Like we played the same team. It's not the same team this time around, but you play them as fast as you can so they can get out as fast as they can, right?
Yeah.
And noon games, understanding the situation. Look, it's everyone's safety is most important. We get that, but it'll tell you a lot of what people think is coming is that we don't do this. Like we just don't do these kind of things. But it probably is the worst part of it all is we were playing like James Madison or Marshall this weekend, or both of them, like a little bit more used to this kind of situation. We're playing the Louisiana schools, like couldn't be
Yeah.
further away.
Yeah.
And so they want to get their weekends over with and get to the house, or get back home, be safe, be around their parents, and whatever may come. Because this is not just a boon storm. It's basically it's a Sunbelt storm. If we want to be honest with ourselves, I mean, take
Yeah.
away Coastal Carolina and South Alabama, like otherwise everybody else is in the path, and Georgia Southern, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's everyone else is in the path of this, and so we got to be careful. We got to play the games, and we especially need to play these games against two of the teams in this conference standings who are towards the bottom, and we could use some wins. And and so I kind of think about it like baseball. It's like it's you play Monroe, who isn't doing that great, but you play them on that Easter weekend where you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you're throwing your typical Friday guy on Thursday. He's got one less day of rest. He's out of his routine, like Xander Hamilton, and like it just kind of throws a wrench into some things, and we got to be the better team. We got to be the home team that knows how to adjust to these things. And free admission is great, but at noon
now you're gonna go, right?
Yeah, now I'm gonna go. I'll be there anyway, right? It'll just be a different kind of deal, right? It won't be a night game. It won't be a Saturday afternoon. But safety is most important, and we totally understand. This will be interesting. This will be an interesting setup here.
Yeah. Yes, it will. So let's start covering some sports here. I want to thank our Olympic sports sponsors, Styles Roofing. Those of you in the greater Charlotte area, you've heard me talk about it for years. Styles Roofing is the best roofing crew in the area, period. They're going to get the job done fast. They're going to do a great job. They can help you walk through your insurance claim if you're filing your insurance for getting a new roof. And they're not going to get paid until the job's done and you're happy with it. They've worked with a lot of Mountaineer fans. So those of you in the greater Charlotte area, Shelby, Ballantyne, Huntersville, whatever, give them a shout. And that's 828. What am I saying? 704-842-1874 to call or text Appalachian State alumnus Billy Styles. And then also Community One Insurance for those of you listening, living in either North Carolina or South Carolina, and you want to save some money and get better service from your insurance provider. Look no further than Matthew Johnson and Zach Ligon. They came from the Walker College of Business. They love working with Mountaineer fans. They're really good at what they do. And no matter what kind of insurance that you need, whether you home and auto, I mean, that's kind of the popular one, right? But insurance for your business, for your boat, for your second boat, for your pontoon boat, whatever boat you have, you want to contact them. They're going to give you the best rates in the industry. They're going to try to find it anyway. And then they're going to give you great service and you'll save some money. And be working with some guys that really know the insurance industry inside and out. And to get in contact with them, you can check out their website, community1insurance.com, or call or text 828-455-2335. Charles, let's kick off with wrestling. We always have something good to say about wrestling because they do a really good job. And conference play still looking great. 40-4 against VMI on Thursday. Out of conference, not looking too great. we go up to Blacksburg, and I don't know if you saw a picture of it, but it looked like an opera house. It was at the Center for the Arts at Virginia Tech. Looked really cool, but 39-0, we fall to the number 7 squad in the country. I remember this was 2 years ago, I think. Virginia Tech, I think they were ranked 7 at the time as well. They came up and they beat us at home, and that was just a good looking squad, man. I mean, that's a good wrestling school. So we win the one we need to win, the SoCon matchup, and kind of get our butts kicked against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we didn't score against Virginia Tech. Unfortunately, that's a tough matchup. A number 7 team in the country. It's the wrestling, like the top is very top heavy, and cool venue for everyone to see. It's an interesting way to do this, but unfortunately, we kind of had one of those back to backers, and we did all the right things, on Thursday against VMI, and that's great. But we kind of turn around and it's you turn the page and it's the complete opposite of what you wanted to have happen. So but Virginia Tech is very talented, a lot of top 20 wrestlers, everyone's ranked, and so it's kind of one of those things. But yeah, I mean, VMI gets a decision at 141 that accounts for their points for the match. They're 3. But otherwise, if you can put up 40, you're doing good things. It's a good matchup.
Yeah, for sure. There's an Appalachian Open, I guess, tournament here on the 24th.
Maybe.
This Saturday. Oh, sorry. Probably not. We'll be there in spirit. Everybody will be there in spirit and just feel really good about it. But yeah, that's a good point. But then I guess next up on the docket is Campbell, our dreaded rival Campbell. But we're down there in Bowie's Creek instead of coming to Boone, so that's really going to be something to watch for the next time we talk about conference matchups. Anyway, moving on to let's talk a little ladies basketball here. We continue to really struggle to score here. We're on the road. It's a weird split. Going up to Norfolk and then Atlanta. I don't know. The Sun Belt sucks, man. And I know they're not like, I know Appalachian isn't the only one that's doing this weird thing, but like, what a weird combo to Wednesday you're going up to Norfolk and then turn around, go down to Atlanta. I mean, that seems really silly to me, but nobody asked me. We do drop a game, our opening game in this road trip, 65-54, and then we lose the Saturday game 79-57. So clearly one is more lopsided than the other. But at the end of the day, the moral of the story is we're having a hard time scoring the basketball.
It is the same thing, AJ. I mean, I think we talked about the Wednesday game last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
Because we recorded after. The situation we're in right now is that the women are also playing down in Texas State. It's about halftime right now in that game. But we talked about that Wednesday game, couldn't score. And then, gosh, that Saturday game was about the same time as the men's game. So very occupied. But, like, we just have another just bad quarter in the middle of the game. We can start fast, we can finish strong, but somewhere in the middle of all of our games, we're just gonna like just have an absolute stinker. And we were up at half, and then we score 9 points coming out of the third quarter, and Georgia State scores 28. And they're not a great team. They do some things well with some trapping and try to play a 5-guard lineup, and they really want to push you. But man, that's just not. I mean, they shoot, what was it for the game? Over 50%, 58%. Outside of their first quarter, like Georgia State was on fire for the rest of the game. It's we just don't have it right now. And I know that the schedule has been one where the first half of the conference slate they've only had 3 home games, and it may be getting to them a little bit, but. Emma Smith with 18 played 37 minutes, and nobody else scored in double figures. It's kind of looking for someone to put the ball in the hoop, play with a little passion, and and get a little upset about like just getting throttled out of halftime. You know, on a Saturday game.
Yeah.
So
That's what's
losing by
happening right
22.
now. That's
Yeah,
what's happening right
losing
now
by
in
22.
Texas.
Yeah, and that's what's crazier. I just closed my tab. That was awesome.
No, so
Um,
I mean, but it's the same kind of theme. So the first quarter of
Same
this Texas
story.
game,
Yeah,
yeah.
the first quarter was like really really slow, and then like Texas State came back and like I think they led after the first if I'm not mistaken, AJ.
So 8-7
Um,
in the first quarter, and then
yeah,
Texas State scores 21 in the second. We only score 8. So I
I
mean,
mean,
it's just not
gosh,
good.
that is just tough.
Yeah,
Um, it was like 7-2 for the longest time, and right before we got on here, the announcers are like, Texas State has got to get something going, and I'm like, if you hold someone to 2 points through like 7 minutes of the first quarter, like you should be up 10 points, you should be up
yeah,
12, like you should be putting them away, and we let them hang around,
yeah,
and right now it's going to be another one of those tough games where we got to come from behind and find something. And what's most likely to happen is that we play them even for the rest of the game, and the damage
yeah,
is done. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. Like I hate it more than
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's actually similar. Yeah, and ladies, you just gotta get sick of it, and but it's really tough. I mean, you can kind of coach and encourage, good defense with effort, but like offense is like kind of a different deal. Like it's hard just to switch on and get offensive production. So that's the nut to crack there is avoiding those single digit quarters, which has just been our Achilles heel. It seems like in all of our losses, there's just that one super ugly quarter that is very lopsided, and the rest seems like very evenly matched. So going through a dry spell, um, not unlike what the men have been going through, honestly, where we dig ourselves in a little bit too much of a hole to really come back, and that was actually the story for the Saturday game. But going off the Thursday night game, man, that was one where we got out to, I think at one point, what was it, 12 nothing or like 12-2 or something
Yeah,
crazy.
12-0.
Yeah, 12 nothing. And that really was the difference. Like we got up and obviously they kind of chipped away and got, tried to get close and we kind of pulled away again. But it really was the difference in the game was that early kind of explosion, putting them back on their heels and scoring fast and putting ourselves in a position where we could buy ourselves a little time to maybe have a couple sloppy possessions or whatever, but then kind of control the pace of the game again. Man, that was the ticket. If I was Coach Kearns, I would just say, "Hey, let's score 12 points first every time." I don't know why he doesn't do that, but that was a that was a good game. And James Madison. I mean, it's been 2000. Was the last time they beat us in basketball? 2023. I mean, it's been a
It's
long
5
time.
straight. Yeah. Yeah, we played great. Friday morning, Coach Kearns talked to a group of men at BNI Methodist Church and said basically, I love it when our team hits 13 threes in a game. If we do that every week, every night out, then we'll be okay.
Yep.
And this is a wire-to-wire win. Jamie never led. The game was never tied. They chased us all night.
Yep.
And we just played well. Like we scored 80 points. It looked fluid. We really stymied them in all aspects. I mean, they shoot for the game 35%. They hit some threes in the second half, and they scored a few more points. But that's the kind of game you want to play. We did this even with 11 turnovers, but we kind of dominated in the paint a little bit. And most of our scoring came from the starting lineup. According to JMU, kind of switched things around and got some points from off the bench. But that's who we are when everybody's firing. It's not just hitting 13 threes. It's getting multiple threes made from several people on the court. I think that really stretches the defense and that opens up those opportunities for paint baskets and things of that nature. But you couldn't, but the way things are going with this team is Thursday nights are great. That's fun. The Saturday
Yeah.
afternoons are the issue here.
Yeah. It really is. So Old Dominion comes in and really, I think they played a great game. I mean, they made some tough shots. I don't necessarily think it was like a lack of defense. I don't think that we were like in the wrong spot too often. Like I just think that they made some tough shots when they needed to. A lot of it was falling. They shot 50% for the night, and then close
Well,
to 50% from three.
mhm.
And to me, like I don't want to make excuses at all. But at the same time, like sometimes like your opponent, especially in that first half, they just had it, and where we didn't. Because if you look at the statistics, they pretty much played the same both halves. Like they didn't really have a drop off. They scored 36 in the first, 39 in the second. The percentages look very similar. Um, from the field, it looks identical. And the number, who's that number? Jordan Battle, number 23. I mean, that dude just didn't miss. I mean, it just everything he put up went in. He was 7 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from three, hit 7 of 9 from of his free throw shots. I mean, he was the difference. He played 39 minutes. he he was tough. He was a tough nut to crack. Now, while we went cold in the first half, I think we were down. Was it 19 at the half? I mean, we had a chance to win this game. We really, really did. We turned it on, but um, we just like I said about what won us the JMU game. The opposite of what lost this Old Dominion game. I mean, 17 points in the first half. It just was while the other team's on a hot streak. I mean, that's just not good. Yeah, just too cold when the other team's not cold. And they didn't really let up. So I think that was pretty much the story. Even though it was a great effort at the end, really thought we could have won that game. But just dug a hole too deep.
Old Dominion had done this kind of all year. They've played with big leads and let teams come back, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday. But just you can't put yourself in the situation that we did. For the most part, I thought the defense was fine in the first half, and I was like, look, it'll flip a little bit, but
Yeah.
then it kind of got stretched out there late, and then I was like, 36 is a little bit too much, more than we're comfortable with. But the 17 first half points is just tough to look at. You
Yeah.
you got to do better than that. I don't care how you get around it. I think that one of the kind of underrated aspects of this game was Old Dominion is a big guy, Caleb Swanton Roger, who got in foul trouble and eventually fouled out, but he was impactful in the minutes that he played in the first half.
Yeah.
So if you look at the stats, he played 13 minutes for the entire game as a starter, and had a plus minus of plus 14. But he bothered Luke Wilson
Yeah, he did.
enough and became enough of an issue. And he still had 7 rebounds, 4 points. Not a lot there, but he was in the way.
Yeah,
We
he
had to
was.
think about him. And there was 2 plays where they doubled down or doubled under, and we were fouled on post buckets or post opportunities, and they called the foul on the other guy. And the way we beat them up there was that he got in foul trouble and he fouled out, or he even got hurt, but he didn't play a lot up there either.
He fouled out. You were correct.
Yeah, and so but he fouled out on Saturday because he got 2 quick ones at the beginning of the second half, and then he didn't reappear, I don't think, until like 50 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
So he was a non-factor, and I think that's what helped us because if you look down, like we started going down low. Like they had nobody to guard Luke or anyone else down there. They were guarding dudes who were like stretch 4s and 3s who rather be sitting around the perimeter versus like guarding and posting up Luke Wilson with a massive size disadvantage and weight disadvantage. And we had 40 points in the paint, but it's just too much too early. You can only say it so many different ways. 17 points is just not going to get it done.
Yeah.
I love the valiant effort. Like we had 2 big runs in that game in the second half, and we had to have those. The 13-0 run that like brought it back to like, hey, we're within striking distance, and then the very elongated situation toward the end of the game where Old Dominion was missing shots. Old Dominion was missing free throws. It gave us an opportunity to get back in. But the problem was that we had to be too perfect late.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we weren't perfect late. We were close to that. we had an opportunity to, to tie that. And, the worst case scenario was Doggin fouled, and then the whole late game, the whole inbound situation, which was interesting. But, it was just not enough. I mean, you see a lot of high point totals for Alonzo Dog because he had to. I think 25 of those, if I'm not mistaken, came in the second half alone.
Yeah.
But you got a senior, you got to go out there and you got to warm it up. It's either you're hitting from outside or you got to drive and hit free throws and get fouls and make teams work on defense. That's certainly, that's the third time that's happened. And that's tough because two of those were at home to the teams in the league that are, I would say, not among the best.
Yeah.
So it leaves a lot to be desired as we hit into our western stretch kind of the conference slate before we, finish the season against some of those eastern teams that we have not played yet or twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still like the team. I still like and when we click, it looks really good. But yeah, man, sometimes you go, cold stretches will kill you. It's all right to go through a cold stretch if the other team's going through a cold stretch, but a little too much. Yeah, I was glad that 35 wasn't in there too long. Because I think you nailed it. I mean, he was legitimately like a real tall. Like he had to have been like 6'11". I mean, he's huge.
Yeah, he's a good defender in the post, and he sets up their offense with screen and rolls at the top. And I really think that's what gets them going. I think that's what they missed in the second half was him not setting those screens. But I mean, they were still hitting shots. It didn't matter if he was in there or not. But they had to adjust to him not being on the floor.
Yep, it's true. Okay, we'll see how we do in these Blizzard noon tip-offs. We'll see how we do, and then we're on the road next weekend. Thursday the 29th at Southern Miss. We don't play well there either, so we need to button down. And Troy's like, to me, like I think there's some teams just have trouble with another program. I don't know what it is. It's like JMU's got big problems with us in basketball. They have, and for whatever reason we play real well in Norfolk. But dude, Troy's like our JMU in that respect. Like we have a tough time. We have a tough time with Troy. So would love to get on the road and beat them. That'd be huge. Be huge for us because Troy's always pretty good. I don't know if they're good this year, but they're a good team. What else we got here? Let's talk a little tennis here because now we have we're in the spring season here. We had Savannah Data Maskell on our show. When was this? October? You know what? I don't even remember when it was, but it was last fall, and it was great. We enjoyed having her on here. So we are going to cover this. Number 3. So when we had Savannah on, they had just gone through like the NCAA, basically the NCAA tournament for the ladies, and Savannah had made the Elite 8. Well, who ended up winning that tournament, Charles, was a lady from North Carolina. I don't remember her name, off the top of my head, but North Carolina has a good tennis school, as evidence from the score here. They're 3-0 on the year. They do beat us 7-0 in the doubles matchup, the number 1 doubles matchup. Savannah and Taya Powell, they dropped their set 6-2, and in singles, Savannah loses as well in 2 sets, 6-1 and 6-2. So maybe not the start that we would like in kicking off things in ladies tennis, but number 3 in the country, that's got to be a tough start regardless of how you split it.
Well, you kind of set the tone of where are you? You play someone who's really good in the beginning of the quote unquote spring season, and it kind of tells you where you are and where you need to go. So moving forward, we got Virginia Tech on Friday. Another sporting event impacted by potential adverse weather, and that got moved up a little bit, and so we'll see how they bounce back.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't have baseball. Baseball's coming around. Don't have softball. Softball's coming around too. Um, Football has added officially now. So we've kind of every week we've kind of gone in stages of adding different guys every single week. But now I think that, when they announce it and classes start, it kind of is what it is. I think we can technically add transfers if they're in the portal, but they wouldn't be able to participate now with class starting, right? I mean, I think that's kind of over. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be just a matter of paperwork as far as getting the football stuff nailed down. They could have certainly been enrolled in classes
Yeah.
and been at school here, and so that's why you'll see some of these late tricklers in. And so it's the second week of school, right? Like I think my intern started last week.
Yeah.
At the courthouse. Yeah, they did. Love to have we got two good ones. But yeah, it's you'll see some, and then you'll probably see an occasional, like at the end of the semester, some others who have maybe enrolled but don't really have a spot yet until something else shakes out. Like maybe you have some seniors who are like, yeah, I go through spring ball, but then I'm like, you know what, they get hurt. And so there's always going to be a couple here and there as we get toward the end of the spring that may come in, but 35 is the number. That is a lot with 29 freshmen from high school.
Yep.
I feel like it was just not long ago we were giving Texas State a hard time about half their roster being like from another school, and it's kind of like who we are now, unfortunately. And
yeah,
that's a lot. 64 is a huge number of newcomers to a football team. So it's a little bit of a clean slate. It's the guys who were playing for us last year and will play for us this year are certainly in the minority.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was Sports Illustrated had a really great analysis of programs like ours, and basically it comes down to it becomes even harder. And we've talked about this, man. I mean, we've talked about this. When you are a mid-major and you're already like fighting for every advantage, you're trying to like recruit, develop, keep your kids here. You can keep the Nate Johnsons here an extra year, keep Santana Hopper here an extra year, like trying to, hey, we had a good year last year. Let's come back. And you're trying to hold it together. Man, when you have a down year and a regime change, and everything flips, everything's new, and you're not good, it is really hard to come out because you're already, you're 2024, we were 5-6. Missed the bowl, not great. The best players from that team, that 5-6 team, leave. And I know I'm a broken record right now. We've said this. This year, we're 5-8 because of that weird bowl thing, but essentially 5-7. And the best players from that team leave. So it's compounding. Yeah. And it just, and that's not Coach Loggins' fault. That's the industry and the rules that have been set up and the incentives that exist for these kids, that you're in a situation, hey, we're 5-7. Like, God, I was, and you got people in your ear, you got text messages, and you got, tampering's not real until they enforce it. So tampering's not even a real thing to talk about. We can feel strongly about it, but then you have those guys leave. And so you're going to have to really fight like crazy. It's just going to be really, really hard. And that, Coach Loggins has a really, really, really hard job ahead of him to try to maximize this roster with 30 freshmen, 35 newcomers, and just try to win some games to kind of get some momentum, to hold some guys here, to build on it for the next year, and hope that we're not 5-7 again, and that the best players on that team don't leave again because they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, we got to see something. So he's got a hard job, man. I mean, it is so hard right now for us to be where we are. It's a hard job. But yeah, we are Texas State, a Pac-12 school. But
yeah, I was thinking earlier today of those old episodes we'd have where we can actually go through and talk about all the high school signees and the portal additions, and now that episode would take like 4 hours. And so it's hard to do something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
because if you spend 2 minutes on every guy, then it's a lot of time.
And you also, what also feels bad is, I hate to say this, but you don't even know, like, are you going to stay? Are you going to be here? Before you could talk about these players, because they're going to be around. I mean, the only reason they wouldn't be around is if they quit. If they don't make it through fall camp or whatever, they just basically tap out. But you knew that Malik Williams, he's going to be here for 4 years. And so when Coach Sloan or whoever recruited, I don't remember who recruited him, but when we get a guy, Coach Watts gets here on the show, he says, "Yeah, we got this kid out of South Carolina, Malik Williams. We really like him." Like, he's going to be on the roster, whether he's a great player or not. Like, we know he's going to be around, so we're talking about him. But now, I mean, who knows? We don't know.
It's hard because you can like grab some highlights, or what did he do at his previous school, and there's a lot of them that are just like he was on the team,
Yeah.
Then that it didn't accumulate a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, played in 3 games, he redshirted.
Yeah.
Or you can get a guy that's been around for a little bit. It's like, hey, he's played in 32 games and he's caught a few passes, or things like that. It's like, or appeared in a handful of games for this team, or whatever it may be. And so there's not a lot to go on, and that's unfortunately why they're at App, is because they're looking for an opportunity to play. And you got these guys who are red shirts or scout team people, and it's hard to sit here and project like, hey, we got a great group. You just don't know. I mean, like even like even the best scouters or people who follow recruiting, like, it's hard to say like, well, the best film that half these guys have put up have been when they were in high school, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so how does that all add up? What does it mean? You can look at someone and say, well, he's fast, or at his previous school, he got a lot of tackles, but like, does it translate here? You just don't know. You would love to sit here and say, like, that dude is going to play well for us. There's no guarantee of that. There's no guarantee of that between what you had in the portal versus what you had from high school. And have these guys peaked? Are they holding on to something that no longer exists? Like, you can go on and on. Like, it's no need for me to just continue to air it out. But the only thing we do know is who's coming back. The only question is it the people that are coming back? Are they all starters? Are they some starters? Have they lost a position on the depth chart? What does that look like? How do they feel about it? And so it's kind of an ever evolving, day-to-day, week-to-week process. And I guess we'll get to some spring ball, and we'll see some stuff of that, and like, we'll have to just gauge and remember what most of us saw, at the last spring game, Battle of the Rock kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're doing that again, yeah.
And so I think there was kind of a preview into what the season actually turned out to be. There were some AJ Swan guys, there were some JJ Cole guys, and guess what? It turned out to be that none of them played in the last game we played, right? And it turns out nobody was right. Could they have been right had injuries not done people in for different reasons at different positions? Yeah, sure, but who knows? And that's why they're not going to be playing for App State next year. So maybe we can learn something in April. Maybe we won't, and we'll just be guessing till August.
Yeah. Yay. That'll be so much fun. Team no depth chart. What's going to be really interesting too is if you just look at the, maybe we should dive more into this next week, but we've lost, I would say, our best assets were at defensive line.
Yeah.
But as we're bringing in new guys, like in the portal, I'm seeing 1, Seeing 1, 2. Ugh.
Three defensive linemen.
Yeah, in the portal. And then there's 6 edge rushers and 3 edge rushers and 3 linemen from high school. So that's a very interesting mix. I do like that a couple of these defensive linemen, like one's from East Tennessee State. This one is from, what is this, Incarnate Word? What is this from? Southeast Missouri State. So we're not necessarily, I don't know, getting guys that couldn't make it up and then coming down, because we've had success with both. Because Rondo Porter was a South Carolina guy. He had a really successful season this year with us on the defensive line. But Dylan Manuel from Charleston Southern, he had a really good year here with us. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the defensive line is replaced. And we lost the coach. I saw that Keith Jones is at USF now. He worked with those interior linemen. So we're having to, I guess, get a new coach. Did we already get a new coach there, or?
I have not seen it announced.
Yeah. Weston Scambler, he'll post about it. we get a new coach out there, but yeah, man, football. Hey, real quick, thanks to Blue Deer for sponsoring our hashtag BGP Mail Satchel segment. Actually, you know what? I actually have we're gonna do that real quick. I actually got a satchel submission here. I'm gonna read it just because it's somebody that's never wrote in before, and I like doing that. Let's see here.
That's an easy way to get a cookie. It
is an easy way.
Ask the question when they're asking for questions, and force your way in the door.
That's exactly right. Now I can't find. Oh, Hayden Taylor. Okay, so this is Oh no, he even said, "I hope this wins a cookie." That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Congratulations, Hayden.
Yeah, Hayden, love the show, and I've listened since 2018, but I've never submitted a question. Great to finally be doing this. After the season that Indiana just had with Cignetti taking the core of his JMU roster, building around it, winning the national title, how far do you think Scott Satterfield's Louisville team could have made it? What a great question. What a great question. What a great question this is. I was not expecting this much heat. This hadn't even entered my mind.
So
wow. So could have made it. Let me finish it. Could have
made I was about to say, I feel like I'm missing something.
Could have made it if the transfer portal had existed at the time, and the core of that App State roster with him, Darrington Evans, Zach Thomas, Thomas Hennigan, Jordan Fair, Corey Sutton, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Hayden Taylor, Atlanta, Georgia, App State 18. Hope this wins a cookie. Go Apps. What a great question. What a great question, because that 18 team was, especially that defense. I mean, the offensive line was really good too. We had a lot of really good skill players. I mean, the whole team. But I mean, that defense was fast and physical and disgusting. Yeah, had the portal existed, we would have been emptied. I'm glad we have the memories that we have, right?
If the portal existed, would Elijah Drinkwitz still be our coach?
Ooh. Wow. Charles, you get a cookie.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about alternate timelines that rival like Back to the Future, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, that team was not only, so I think one of the things that that really helped Cignetti, who I'm just so impressed by him. I'm glad we don't face him anymore, because I'm just really impressed by how he handled his business and kind of walked in and just like Google me, and just this hard-nosed guy, knew what he wants, brought a staff with him, just did not compromise. He brought guys into that roster from JMU that had the kind of edge and the meanness that he knew were required, and that rubbed off on everybody. And it clearly did. It set the tone. And man, if Scott Satterfield, so one of the things that, I didn't talk, I mean, I can count on one hand how many times I've talked to Scott Satterfield, but like Nick Cardwell, who went with him to Louisville, you talk to those guys and they'll tell you that they, really had to teach those guys how to do it their way. It wasn't as tight of a ship, right? Mike Siriano comes on there and had to teach it their way. if Zach could take his best 12 players with him, who are just hard nosed. I mean, you got to think like Demetrius Taylor, Jordan Fair, Keem Davis. I mean, just that whole defense. Sean Jolly. Yeah, man. I mean, Josh Thomas.
The list goes on. Yeah,
the list goes on and on and on. Bring it up there, and like they know how to do things, and they can like set the tone and outwork everybody and push everybody to be better. God, how happy am I that we didn't have a portal, and like the fruits of like great recruiting and development was actually able to flourish where it was planted, right, at Appalachian State. Man, it's kind of depressing to think about, honestly. What a great question. Yeah, that wins a cookie for sure. Email me your Hayden, your address, and send you one. Because that was kind of the thing when Drink got the job at Mizzou. People were like, "Well, is Zach gonna like graduate and grad transfer to Mizzou?" You know.
I don't remember that, but nowadays, if that were to happen, it's almost like a guarantee, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now, like how different schools value different types of players, and both the national championship starting quarterbacks were transfer guys that came from decent schools.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me that Carson Beck goes from Georgia to Miami and like gets back to the national championship game, I was like, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. I think there's just a lot of magic that has to happen, like and coincide all at the same time for these runs to happen anyway.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I'll tell you what, like the Kurt Signetti memes are great. The way he
Really?
looks on the sideline, such as me checking the brisket after 14 hours, watching the wife load the dishwasher.
Hold on, the best one is him like kind of bobbing and weaving, checking for the spot of the ball. You know what you're talking about, and it says me checking to see if the pin is 260 or 265 yards away from the pin before I top it 20 yards.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of them, and then he's, all the little things, and that I've never seen a group of schools congratulate someone who worked there for like 2 years. Like,
yeah, everyone's got to get their kicks in.
Elon's like, yeah, man, that's our guy. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Davidson like posting a photo from like the 90s. Like
90s, it was like 1986.
Yeah, that's the 90s essentially. I mean, the late 80s and then early 90s are all the same.
Yeah.
If there's ever been a sub-decade, it should be like 86 to 94. Like,
okay. All right, that's fair.
But yeah, I didn't read the whole thing, but I was just like, why everybody wants to be this dude's like guy, like, and get a little bit of cred. And
it reminds me of when Appalachian, like in their NFL, playing in the NFL playoffs, and they included Jalen McLeod.
Right. It's like, he was here. Yeah, he was here.
So Robert Hogwood, shout out Robert Hogwood. He actually asked me that when he transferred to Auburn, when Jalen transferred. He said, "Hey, one day when he's in the NFL, do you think App's going to claim him?" I was like, 100%. Are you kidding me? And then when they posted that, like Jalen McLeod's playing, I didn't think anything of it until Robert texted me, and he said, "He told you." I was like, I didn't even notice it. That's how like natural that felt. Like, yeah, Jalen McLeod. Oh yeah, like he's our guy. Whatever. I have something else that I want to bring. This is totally off topic, but I want to talk about it anyway. I think a lot of our listeners will care. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But first, so shout out Blue Deer for hashtag BGP Mail Satchel, Downtown Boone, Blowing Rock, and West Jefferson. Also, I know I mentioned this, but I do want to give a review of Bubba's Burgers. So we actually went there on Saturday and I had the Nashville hot chicken, fried chicken sandwich. I love the temperature, the combination of like the hot and sweet of the Nashville hot. It is hot friendly. In other words, if you're not like looking for serious heat, like it tastes like a spicy sandwich. But if I could request to be a little hotter, but it probably wouldn't be like average connoisseur. You know what I'm saying? It could be a little hotter, but
Put a little
it's
Texas
probably
Pete on there.
appropriate.
I'm sure they got some.
Yeah. But it was very good. It was the texture of the fried chicken, not too much breading, not sloppy, not like Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry, I can't say anything bad about Chick-fil-A, but it was good. And then also Mountaineer Mania, downtown Boone, 497 West King Street. Get all your gear, your cold weather gear, your tailgating gear, and pretty soon, I know it's January, but pretty soon you're going to be wanting to get those polo shirts and those T-shirts out. And but check them out, a long-standing Appalachian State fan staple in the High Country, downtown Boone. Check it out, and every purchase you make, their proceeds, part of the proceeds go to support Mountaineer Athletics, and you can't miss that. So, real quick, Andrew Jones, Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Do you think that him being in the Hall of Fame is a function of us finally recognizing the value of defense, or is it that offensive standards have lowered because now guys are hitting like 250 and like having a great season? Like if you hit 250 in 35 home runs, you're considered a great player. Like that, who's that guy that just signed with the Dodgers, made everybody mad? If you go back and look at that guy's stats, they're like really underwhelming to me. Like, is the guy that like followed great players that hit for average and power. Like this dude was hitting like 250 with 25 home runs and he's getting paid $60 million a year. That's crazy to me. So is Andrew Jones in the Hall of Fame because offensive standards have gone down, or because people finally recognize that he was just in a league of his own defensively?
I think it's the matter of time on the defensive part. I'm not going to say he's the best center fielder of all time. He's definitely the best center fielder that the Atlanta Braves has ever had. I don't think that will ever change. But I think his runs saved actually matters. And when you have that high of a number of runs saved, and you're one of 4 guys ever with what's the stat? I'm about to forget it. 400 home runs and what, 10 Gold Gloves? Is that right? 10 Gold Gloves?
10 in a row. Yeah.
That's come on. Like that first jump was incredible, and his last 4 steps to approaching the baseball, you did not believe that he was going to make that catch.
Yeah.
And he was always laying out, and he was getting dirty. And so, he was a center fielder that is supposed to be like an athletic guy, not necessarily full of power, right? Like those guys are on the corners, right? And he still somehow managed 400 home runs. Like, I don't care if he hit 212 or 262. That's a big deal. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah. So I think the real question that I have is like, how valuable are you to your team? And you do have to now, today's, baseball teams are like vomiting statistics and analytics and stuff. But I mean, you just touched on it. Andrew Jones looks like either, in his, like, I would say like year 2000, man, he was not a slender guy. Like, he was lean, like he looked like a tight end, right? I mean, it's what he looked like. He looked like he probably should be, like, if you were to look at him and say, where do you play? You're saying probably right field, right? Or maybe third base.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say center field, to your point. Like, your center fielders and your shortstops and your second basemen. So center fielders and shortstops traditionally are going to be thin, like really lean, and really, really fast. Andrew Jones was like, he didn't look thin and lean. Like, he just looked like a solid, like, piece of rock. And so I think he's the greatest defensive center fielder, because that's where the best, I mean, you put your best defender in center field. He's the best defensive outfielder I've ever seen. And I, like, in the same way that Barry Bonds was like one of one, like, he really didn't have a peer when he played, because like there was that one year he walked 230 times. Like, he had a 700 on base percentage one year. Like, he couldn't be touched for like 5 years, Barry Bonds. There was no equivalent to him. I feel Andrew Jones defensively in center field, he had no equivalent. Like, he was that dominant. And, I've seen people say, well, Jim Edmonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Jim Edmonds was at his peak, had a better offensive output than Andrew Jones. I've seen people say, well, Torrey Wilson has like really similar offensive numbers to Andrew Jones, and he also has, Gold Gloves or whatever. Torrey Hunter was a really great a defensive player too, really great. I still don't think either one of those guys came close to being as much of an asset in creating outs and preventing runs as Andrew Jones did. Like, I saw a video today before we recorded where King Griffey Jr. sitting there looking at King Griffey Jr. looking at Andrew Jones and said, "You are the best outfielder I've ever seen." If King Griffey Jr. is telling you that, I mean, you're doing something. So I think that you're able to put a power hitter at center field where you're supposed to have kind of a slender guy, and he's going to hit 35 home runs, driving 100 runs, and he's going to save you 20 runs a year. Can't beat it.
One of my favorite clips is, back when Houston had that stupid hill in center field for some reason,
With the lamp
dumbest
posts.
baseball park ever built.
Yeah.
And he had to climb it twice, like in one game. And like, you know how hard to do that is to do? Like, you're running and they're like, all of a sudden, like, you take a step and you just got to be able to brace for climbing uphill or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like, just not. And let's just remember, like, he hit 2 home runs as a 19-year-old in the 1996 World Series.
Yeah.
At Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Like, his story was written there. Like, he was like, hey, this guy is going to be the thing.
Yeah.
That's where his legend started.
Yeah. He there's a great clip there, by the way, for anybody that, growing up, so many people, especially if you're in North Carolina, you're in the Southeast, you pull for Atlanta, it's your regional team, but a lot of people follow the Braves because they're on TBS. Everybody can watch them nationally. There's a great Twitter account called Braves on TBS.
Oh yeah, very familiar.
Everybody should go follow that if you're even remotely interested in this. They showed a clip of Andrew Jones' major league debut from 1996 where they had him playing in right field. So the first ever play he made, like outfield assist or whatever, he threw behind Scott Rowland and threw him out because he read that he had overturned the base. He had strayed too far off. He hit his cutoff man perfectly and threw him out. And I mean, people forget, like, he had an absolute cannon for an arm. It's like, I think Ronald Acuna is a better athlete, apples to apples. I think he's more explosive, way better hitter. But defensively, I just don't think there's anybody that off the bat covered the ground that he did.
Right.
There's a video that they show all the time of him. I remember watching it live when I was 13 or whatever old I was. Will Cordero is hitting. He's in Montreal. Tom Glavine's pitching. Is the 9th inning, and Cordero hits a ball in the gap. That's a double. If anybody else is playing center field, it's a double. And he closes the ground at the very end and it stretches out as low as you can get and gets it. And Tom Glavine never showed any emotion on the mound. And he showed him like walking off the field, and you could see him. He's just kind of deadpan. He goes, "Wow." You just can't believe it.
And here's a stat they don't really keep. I mean, how many runs did he save by just dudes just not running on him?
Yeah.
It was shallow enough. He played up.
Yep.
As all good center fielders do.
Yeah.
And how many times did the guy on third just be like, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get doubled up here.
Yeah.
Coach won't be happy. There's little things like that go a long way. But yeah, his first steps were elite, and just a fun player to watch. Just a real fun player to watch.
He's a great player. Are you voting in Manny Ramirez if you're a voter?
Yeah, I think so.
It's the greatest right-handed hitter probably of the last.
Yeah, I think so.
100 years. How about Alex Rodriguez?
I'm going to say no.
Oh, why?
Look, the baseball age of of certain things. I just think he was just overhyped. He was good, but I don't think he was great.
He was. I think he's a top 3 greatest player of all time. Alex Rodriguez. At one time, he was playing shortstop, where traditionally like little 5'9", 170-pound dudes played there as like a 6'3", like juggernaut, hitting 45 home runs, hitting 330, and winning a Gold Glove. I mean,
I just, and I'm probably a little jaded here. I don't know why. It just never was like an I love A-Rod kind of guy.
How about Roger Clemens? Is he getting a vote?
Yes.
Yeah. How about Barry Bonds?
Yes.
How about Curt Schilling?
Sorry.
Curt Schilling.
I think he'll probably get in one day.
Would you vote for him?
On that? There's a lot of things that happen in any baseball player's career where like you have those moments of like the bloody sock. And you're like, and then people are going to think about other things that past their prime, that like not past their prime, but past their baseball career that are going to come into play.
Yeah.
Like, was he good on the mound? Yeah.
He's great.
Did he get traded? Did he get traded for because he was good? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably
he's not in the Hall of Fame because he's got a big mouth. And I mean, his numbers, like John Smoltz is kind of like this media darling. Everybody loves John Smoltz. And John Smoltz deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but Curt Schilling.
Well, yeah. I mean, John Smoltz is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, John Smoltz is a Hall of Famer. It was Curt Schilling's the Hall of Famer. But he might be dead before they vote him in. I mean, he might be. I'm serious. I mean, that's real. So anyway, happy for Andruw Jones. I don't know about Carlos Beltran. I don't know if I'd have voted for him at great prime. He was a really good player, but I don't know. I can maybe be talked into it. So is there anything else we got going on?
Girls are only down 12. Women are down 12 late in the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth, actually. Little charge here late.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. We're not going to sit here and watch and see what happens, but
not on the air.
It would take probably another 30 minutes. You know how the end of basketball games could be.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, everybody, thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold podcast. And until next week, stay warm and go Apps.